The Last Light of Ra. In the golden twilight of the 18th dynasty, under the reign of Pharaoh Akhenaten, the Nile whispered secrets to those who listened. The people of Kemet watched the sun more closely than ever, for their ruler had commanded the worship of a tenth disk of the Sunnas, the one true God. Among the courtiers of the palace at Akhetaten was a young scribe named Menon, born of humble origins but gifted with a sharp mind and a heart full of wonder. Menon had risen to prominence through his devotion to truth and the gods, or rather, the god, as Akhenaten insisted. Menon, however, kept an old idol of Amun hidden beneath his scroll-sand act of quiet rebellion in a world reshaped by the pharaoh's new faith. He was not alone in his doubts. Whispers spread in the shadowed halls of the palace, among priests stripped of power and generals worried by the weakening grip of Egypt's armies in the south. One sweltering afternoon, Menon was summoned to the great temple of Aten. There, in a chamber bathed in blinding sunlight, he met Pharaoh Akhenaten. The ruler, tall and gaunt, wore a crown of radiant gold and a serene expression that barely masked exhaustion. "I have seen a vision, Menon," Akhenaten said, his voice as light as papyrus in the breeze. "Aten weeps. There is betrayal in our midst." Menon bowed low, feeling the weight of truth press on his shoulders. "Pharaoh, may Aten guide your steps always. What would you have me do?" "You are trusted," Akhenaten said. "Find the serpent in the temple. Root out the heretics who cling to Amun." That night, as the moon crept over the desert, Menon stood at the edge of a decision. He could expose the hidden faithful and earn the pharaoh's favor, protect them, and risk everything. The gods of Egypt, old and new, seemed to watch in silence. In the end, Menon wrote a letter, but not to the pharaoh. He sent it secretly to General Horemheb, a man known for his loyalty to the people rather than the gods. In it, Menon warned of Akhenaten's growing instability, his isolation, and the crumbling state of the empire under the sun's unblinking eye. Years later, when Akhenaten was gone and his city abandoned to the sands, Horemheb became pharaoh and restored the old gods. Menon, now an old man, watched as Amun's temples rose again, and the name of Aten was scratched from the stone. But in his heart, Menon carried both truths: the vision of one god in the light of the sun, and the strength of many gods in the shadows. And so he wrote his final scroll. "The gods rise and fall, but the Nile flows on. Let the future remember not only who ruled, but what was dared."